Thanks, Jamie. Let's get right to your top headlines this evening. These stories are real, new, now. With multiple elections on the horizon in Missouri, find out why the state is now being sued as it plans out how people will cast ballots during the COVID-19 outbreak.
A Springfield company is helping in the fight against COVID-19 around the country. Find out how they are lending a hand coming up.
And local organizations are coming together to help make sure the homeless community is accounted for and taken care of during this pandemic. We have the details. Ozarks Fox News at 9 starts right now.
Real, new, now. This is Ozarks Fox News at 9.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jennifer Abreu.
And I'm John Adams. Our top story tonight is breaking news out of Branson. One person is dead from a house fire that happened in just a few hours ago at Travis Lane and Fairway, right off of East 76 near Branson.
That location is near the Holiday Hills Golf Course for reference.
Our Francis Lynn is live on the scene of that fire with more for us tonight. Francis, what can you tell us right now?
Well, as you can see behind me, there's a couple of fire trucks out here, and I saw at least 6 to 8 firemen out here still working on the scene. So according to the Taney County Fire Chief, there were smokes and flames coming out behind this house. We can't go behind the house, but we can see that the damage is pretty substantial from the broken windows on the second floor. So he says this is part of a duplex where firemen pulled 2 elderly people out. One of them is dead. The other is transported to a hospital in Springfield. This all happened around 5:45 this afternoon. The fire also damaged parts of the back, like I mentioned, and also siding of the other duplex. So we don't know the cause of the fire yet or any other information at this point, but the fire crew is still working on the scene, and we want to give them time to do that. So hopefully when they get a free moment, we can get some new information, and we'll put that up on our website, ozarksfirst.com. Francis Lynn, Ozarks First.
All right, Francis, thank you. Well, new at 9, Springfield City Council tonight approved emergency funding to fight COVID-19 locally. The city will work with Greene County to allocate up to $50,000 to be used by the Office of Emergency Management to purchase supplies, equipment, and services related to fighting COVID-19. Council members also approved moving forward with an agreement with Kraft Heinz to purchase equipment so the company can expand in Springfield. Members approved a sewer project unanimously as well tonight. The city will build a gravity sewer and lift station in the Millwood East development area. City Council again tabled ordinances relating to short-term loans until its meeting on May 4th.
In our political coverage tonight, with at least 3 elections coming up this year, a lawsuit has been filed against the state of Missouri in an effort to protect voters from COVID-19. The ACLU wants to make absentee mail-in voting available for all eligible voters in Missouri, which is the case for most other states. But here in the Show Me State, voters are required to provide an excuse such as an illness or physical disability to be able to cast an absentee ballot. The ACLU argues if voters have to be physically present at the polls, waiting in line with others, they won't be following the advice of many health experts. The lawsuit wants to make avoiding the contraction of the coronavirus to be an acceptable reason for absentee voting. Now, the ACLU released several statements saying no one should be forced to choose between staying safe and voting. This should be a common sense solution, and Missourians should not have to be exposed to a deadly virus in order to vote. Now, we also spoke with Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft today, who says he's only following the law.
We've been working on what we need to do to make sure the elections are safe from before the presidential preference primary. Finding polling places, making sure we have poll workers, making sure we have disinfectant, we have masks for our poll workers. We can do this. We're looking at how do we do drive-through voting and curbside voting along with in-person. It's going to be safe to vote.
Ashcroft also said he doesn't have the authority to make that change, and like he said, it will be safe to vote in Missouri, according to him.
Well, COVID-19 has already had a major impact on the state of Missouri's budget, and now Governor Mike Parson says even more cuts are necessary to ensure funding in the fight against the virus. At his daily press briefing today, Governor Parson announced 9 state agencies will see reduced funding in an effort to balance the budget. The governor said he expects to see a rise in the number of positive cases in Missouri as more testing becomes available. But overall, Parson says the state is progressing toward reopening.
We're seeing signs in the data that Missouri is slowing the course of COVID-19. On Saturday, I spoke with the infectious disease doctors from across the state, and the common theme is that we are seeing stabilization in the healthcare systems. We are cautiously optimistic that we are beginning to stabilize, and we are preparing to reopen Missouri for business.
The Director of Public Safety also announced the state has been fully refunded for the cost of personal protective equipment that failed to meet the state standards.
Making local news tonight, we want to offer some perspective on several media reports you may have seen about a potential coronavirus case. We've learned tonight a Springfield USPS employee is presumed positive for COVID-19. A spokesperson says the employee was showing symptoms on April the 4th and was then asked to quarantine at home. But the Greene County Health Department says there's no cause for concern right now. Officials don't have any data that puts the public at risk of exposure. Plus, your risk for contraction through the mail is extremely low. It's unclear what facility the employee worked at. The health department also didn't confirm or deny if the USPS patient is linked to a group of 65 people at a business who are exposed to the virus. We learned last week 13 of them now have symptoms.
Lauren Cook Company, located in Springfield, has been sending industrial fans to makeshift medical facilities across the United States. And the company supplied Cox Health in Springfield with equipment to create its new dedicated COVID floor as well. Now its newest product was made with the same idea. The mobile air cleaner is smaller and more portable and can make any space an isolation room.
This fan, when you turn it on in the room with the patient, it creates a negative pressure, and so no air in the room can exit out into the hallway and possibly infect other areas of the dormitory or whatever facility that they're converting over to. So it's a constant negative pressure, and the air is always being discharged outside where it dissipates.
The company also helped make a prototype for General Motors as they switched their assembly line from cars to ventilators. Cook says they are continuing to hire more workers, including those who may have been laid off due to COVID-19.
Well, as COVID-19 has created an even greater need to care for those without homes in our community, the Ozark Alliance to End Homelessness has established a COVID-19 task force. The goal is to develop a shelter, containment, quarantine, and isolation plan for those who don't have a home. In addition to cold weather shelters, the task force also established day centers and is working to expand access to other sheltering options like hotel rooms. The community partnership received $50,000 to provide 75 households with hotel stays. Now the task force is launching their Merciful Nights campaign to raise another $50,000 to continue this shelter and hope to recruit more hotels to offer rooms at $150 per week for 4 weeks.
People experiencing homelessness are uniquely at risk for contracting COVID-19. Particularly those who are aging, who are pregnant, who have previous health conditions, or have limited to no access to general health care. Prevention through containment is the key and is our primary goal to address our current need.
If you would like to donate or support this initiative, there's more information on our website, ozarkfirst.com.
Looking around the region, in Kansas City today, protesters took to the streets to rally against Missouri Governor Mike Parson's recent extension of the stay-at-home order. Similar protests have been seen around the country as citizens are eager to return to normal life. Another protest is expected in Jefferson City and one in Springfield tomorrow. Also in Kansas City, another group of protesters stood along I-70. The protest was organized by a coalition to protect Missouri tenants. It was aimed again at Governor Parson, asking him to stand with Missourians who cannot pay their rent due to COVID-19.
Well, time to check in with Jamie.